Welcome to the Cleveland State of Mind podcast. This is your host, T.Y.E, also known as Watch the Tape, also known as I Told You So, also known as Listen to Me Now, Believe Me Later On. I will be giving you each week's wrap up of the Cleveland Browns games as I see them. And a lot of times we'll probably see the same things, so I'll just be co-signing what you already knew, right? So first, let's talk about Week 1's game. Cleveland Browns against the Carolina Panthers and Baker Mayfield, who sucked, but that was no surprise, right? Because we know that's what Baker does. He'll show you some flashes of brilliance, and then the real Baker shows up, and he'll let you down and break your heart. Kind of a normal thing around here in Cleveland, but good news is he's on a different team. Jacoby Brissett was able to lead the Browns to a win today. So we congratulate the Cleveland Browns, Jacoby Brissett, on his first start in a long time, getting back under center and really making some plays down the stretch in that game, especially in the fourth quarter, to get the win. Cannot go any further into this podcast without mentioning the fact that Cade York kicked a 58-yard field goal to win the game. Rookie kicker from LSU, Cade York. All the hype has been in the offseason about Cade kicking 70-some yards in practice, which is obviously worth not a hill of beans, but he came through with a 58-yarder in the game to win the game with 8 seconds left. I'm going to talk about some quick key points that I saw during the game. First one being Demetric Felton need to hop up on the doggone bench. He needs to be a practice squad player or an inactive roster player. You got to put Dearness Johnson back on the active roster. He either needs to be back there catching the punts and the kickoffs, or they got to find somebody else because Demetric Felton is not the answer. Demetric had zero targets during the game. Despite the fact he ran a whole lot of motion, he played probably 15 to 20 snaps, just ran back and forth from one side of the field to the other, never actually got the ball thrown to him. Fourth quarter breakdown, boom, boom, boom. Jacoby Brissett did his thing. Last drive, Amari Cooper, what the hell was you doing on the 3rd and 1 when you should have been running a little out route to get the first down to get out of bounds? And he over there, I don't know, scoreboard watching or something. You could tell that the play didn't go the way it was planned. Great heads-up play by Jacoby to go ahead and spike the ball. Really should have been a penalty, but hey, we got away with it, which is something that we rarely say in Cleveland because we don't get away with nothing. We actually get called for things that didn't even really happen. So we'll take that one. That put Cade York in position at the 40 to make that 58-yard kick. It probably would have been good from 68 while you playing with yourself at your cousin's house. But we definitely are excited about a Week 1 win. First time in 17 years that the Browns have won in Week 1. I will bring these wrap-ups to you each week. And I will break down both offensive and defensive sides of the ball. For example, the defense was hot trash in the fourth quarter. You don't need me to tell you that. Basically on 3 plays, the one where Baker fumbled the snap because we know he loves fumbling snaps, and Christian McCaffrey picked it up and ran like somebody was chasing them for his milk money for a 20-plus yard gain. The big 75-yard play to Robbie Anderson, which was clearly a blown coverage. It looked like either Grant Delpit or Ronald McDonald. Who cares? Somebody who was supposed to be covering that side of the field let the offensive player get behind him. We can't have those kind of mix-ups. I've seen some great breakdowns by QBR, so check them out on YouTube as well. They did a great breakdown of the film and kind of went through what could have potentially been the issue with the coverage on that play. Then there was another big pass to one of the tight ends where it also was clearly a blown coverage. Without those 3 plays, really, where almost 200 yards worth of offense were gained on those 2 plays, without those plays, really the Browns defense did a great job of keeping Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers offense under wraps. holding Christian McCaffrey to under 50 yards for the game. So great week one, great start in some areas. Obviously, it takes what they say all three segments of the game: special teams, defense, offense, to have a complete game. It was not a complete game because clearly we had some hiccups on special teams with Felton and a fumbled or a muffed punt. Obviously, we had some mental breakdowns and errors on the defensive side with the secondary's coverage. And then also offensively, we just had, I believe, 4 times in the red zone, but only came away with 1 touchdown while in the red zone. So there's some opportunity there. Didn't really see Jacoby Brissett spread the ball around. I mean, he threw it to Donovan Peoples-Jones every time he got a chance, which was great because Donovan was catching it. He had 6 catches. But we like to see the ball go to Amari Cooper more. In addition to the fact that we like to see whether or not Schwartz's hands actually work. He was able to catch 1 pass, which was a huge catch in the third quarter, which helped to keep a drive alive. So we'll see how that plays out with Anthony Schwartz. Right now, I'm not convinced. I got to see more. But as the Browns go into New York, we'll talk about what that matchup looks like later on this week. Probably on Friday or so, we'll break that down and see how the Browns match up against the Jets. Obviously, Cleveland's projected to be able to win our first 4 games if we just don't jack it up. If we continue to let Nick Chubb, who had a fantastic day, 140-some yards rushing. If we continue to let Kareem Hunt, who had 2 touchdowns, 1 receiving and 1 rushing, if we continue to let those guys really lead the offensive push, we should be in great shape, especially the way our defense played for 3 quarters. If we can get that in a total 4-quarter game, you're talking about holding teams to less than 14 points. And so as long as our defense can stifle teams like that, our offense can continue to run the ball, have Jacoby throw when he needs to throw. I think we can get to 4-1, 3-2. We'll talk about that also later this week. We'll look at the rest of the schedule for at least this first 6 games and kind of see how that breaks down what we project the Browns' record to be as they are really trying to march towards the return of Deshaun Watson to the team from his suspension from being a freaky deek. All that, more content. Please follow me on Twitter at 216 State of Mind, on Instagram at 216 State of Mind. Once again, I am your host, T.Y.E., always, every day, repping the CLE. And if you need advice about what's popping and what's stopping, come see me. This is T.Y.E. with the Cleveland State of Mind podcast. I am O-U-T. We're not doing the peace sign because that's trash. I am O-U-T. I am O-U-T. Thank you for tuning in to the Cleveland State of Mind podcast. This is your host, T.Y.E., and I am O-U-T.